It is 7 o'clock on. Did I say Thursday?
You
Happy
did.
Tuesday.
No, but
I'm,
Thursday's good.
yeah, let's do Thursday.
It is Tuesday, the 24th or 25th. What day?
25th.
25th.
25th. I have Thursday written down right here on my notepad, so I would just read it off. It is the man's curator, though. We're here
Yes.
with Knuckle Dragger you and Tim and his cigars.
Yeah.
And
Today.
obvious sunny weather. It is not like that in Wisconsin. I mean, it's sunny, but it's 30.
My dog's right here, Sam, resting in the sun. I'm in shorts in the sun, 72 degrees. You know, the sun has shown up in Oregon again. We didn't know if it was going to come back this year or not. I've always wondered. Leaves
Right.
about November and comes out about now. So it's been good. Smoking a Connecticut nub today. Connecticut nub. Let's see if I can get that on camera. Just the opposite. It's in the sunshine, so I guess I'm not. But this is it's a nub. That's why they call it a nub, is because it's short.
Oh, does it come short? I didn't know if a nub was like you'd already smoked it for a while.
So it was quiet all day, and now I got a lawnmower.
That's not a snowblower? What the fuck is happening?
So if he's just starting, I probably ought to just go. Well, it died, but I think that was it's my neighbor. Anyway, if it's loud, let me know. I'll go into the garage. All right,
You're good.
So, amazing. Quiet all day, and then I.
Right.
So, smoking a Connecticut nub. This is a 50 ring size is just about right. You can get a Lancero's 46, and the ones I'm sending you are Sweet Jane, and they're about a 48. A little. This is like a 54, so it's a little bigger, but it's short, just for like a short smoke. I don't really care for the bigger cigars,
Right.
and they it's interesting. I find that not I like the Turos. They're around the 50. The Corona's a little bit smaller. I think the best tasting ones are just Turos, and the bigger ones. It's not that they don't taste as well, because it's all per brand cigar per year, and but it's kind of uncomfortable when you're used to something else. It's just a little bigger, not as comfortable with it. That's my cigar segment of the day.
Well, what is happening, Tim, politically that's got you riled up today?
You know, we get a lot of nonsense things that aren't that important. Um, so let me know. Is that lawnmower loud?
Yeah, it's getting louder.
All right, all right. So I'm going to turn off the camera and just move into the my second studio. All right.
Roger that.
We can. Camera's disabled. Can you see me?
I can see you.
It says disabled.
There it goes.
All right. I need about 30 seconds.
While Tim moves, we will. I was just looking around at. I guess Pete Hegseth freaking said some war shit on on Signal. Anyways, I that was insanity that I read that, and then I read that it's kind of a joke. It's everything's so dadgum partisan now. It's very hard to understand if you're seeing truth or what exactly you're seeing. Everybody's like, my side's right. Well, that leaves us with nothing. It leaves us with not under, like, have no clue what's going on ever. in real life. I think he's moving in now. He's moving in the garage now, and hopefully he'll get set up. We'll take about 5 minute break. I need to go grab something, anyways.
All right, I think I'm here. There we go.
Did you figure? You got it.
I got it. Now my center. There we go.
It's crazy that you look tan in fucking March.
Yeah, not the Wisconsin guy. I met a guy in Wisconsin though today. He lives outside of Madison. He is on a cigar site that I am on. I got a cigar delivery today, and so he was kind of reviewing my cigar delivery. And he has a whole, he has a built-on building on his house that's all cigars. It's
Oh
fascinating.
wow.
And then he's got a downstairs basement lounge. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Pete Higgs. So much ado about nothing. It doesn't seem like I love Tulsi Gabbard. She was just testifying, and then the commie senator was trying to grill her, and he says, "Well, if it wasn't classified, then why don't you share it with us?" And she just stares at him, doesn't answer. You know, because obviously it's private. You don't need to have it. Just because it's not classified doesn't mean I have to share it with you.
Right.
So I tell you, they're out for blood. You saw um, one of Charlie Kirk's chapter girl presidents at University of Texas at Dallas. My son went there. Um, a transgender looks like took a bike lock and just came up and swatted her.
Bullshit. Are you serious?
And no, and they got it on video, and it just was appalling. It wasn't so, it didn't capture a lot of the actual hit, but got her face, the transgender, in the picture so they could get him. And
People got to fucking strap up. Start fucking headshotting these motherfuckers.
but here's the thing that was so disappointing. There's a bunch of guys were around, part of her group, that just stood there not knowing what to do because they're such.
Fucking.
They've been, they've been, they've been trained to that they're just in trouble. They're just wrong. If you're conservative, you're just wrong. You have to stand back and take it. I would
Nah,
have.
dude, you
They,
fucking.
they
That
were.
dude's
He was
fucking
trying
face
to get
wouldn't look the
away.
same.
he had a bicycle. He was jumping on the bike and he was tripping up a little bit. And it took him a second.
I,
I
bro, just
tackled.
fucking
I
bulldog that
would've
motherfucker.
introduced him to the bike block.
Just fucking elbow. Like that dude's face had been rearranged if I was
Yeah,
there. Straight up. He'd have been
just
drinking out of a straw for the next
hit
8
a
weeks for
girl with a
sure.
bike block. I mean,
Fuck
it was
him.
it was a metal bike block, one of those hefty ones, the round curved ones. It wasn't a little
Fuck
wide.
those cunt motherfuckers. Or just, they need to be, gonna have to start just headshotting these motherfuckers.
You see that uh,
Straight
Daisy,
up Billy the Kid shit.
Daisy Crockett? You know the little Crockett Congress lady from Texas, mouthing off, threatening, having people try to kill Musk and kill Cruz.
Oh,
Take
yeah.
smash him in the face.
All she wants for her birthday. Take him out. That's it. One birthday present.
I'm not for censure. They censored her.
Did
I'm
they
not.
really?
Yeah, that
I
doesn't
think
make.
it's gay as fuck. It's a strongly fucking worded letter.
Yeah, I don't really
What
care.
does that even mean?
I want the people to censor her, by not voting her back in. That's
Yes,
not
that's how
good.
you censure.
But
I-
when you're making public threats as a public official against another public official, like
yeah,
she called uh, what the governor of Texas wheelchair
Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheel boy, that's not cool. I don't care what you think of politics. Leave that alone. And yet, if some uh, conservative said anything nasty, they'd go all berserk. And I think it's time. It's not equal fair play. It's time just to smash them right back. If you're going to dole it out, finish it. You know,
Yeah.
politically, I think they just need to be stopped and incarcerated, adjudicated and incarcerated. So Bitcoin up. So Hex, I think it's a whole nother issue. This signal thing is a total joke. It's a lot about nothing. Hell, Biden invited the Chinese people, government, into all of our thinking processes. So what's and how many dim-tard senators had a spy working for them or congressman, from China. So it's like this is nutso. And you had the Joint Chief of Staff calling up Beijing and saying, "Hey, if Trump, I'm going to keep you posted, but we're not going to listen to him if he does anything warring. We'll give you a heads up."
Yeah.
And then you want to have a conversation that probably was hacked at best. It probably was not a mistake. I'm thinking, yeah, that doesn't make any sense. So it was probably somebody faking that they were somebody else or something like that. It doesn't make sense that you would just invite um, Steve Jobs' wife's paper head editor, who's a total instigator, commie libtard, to be part of your group discussion, right?
Hmm.
Um, so anyway, so I don't think there's much to do about anything. To tell you the truth, I think it's just a side screen for real realities. I'll tell you what's really important. We need to get Mike Johnson to grow a pair. I just don't like the guy at all. I just think he's weak, and I think he's a traitor. Even he does a few things good, but it's everything's calculated, and he's checking the wind every time, and he doesn't ever do anything that's just on principle the right thing to do. Right? And he's always showing up for a photo bomb because I don't think anybody wants him in a picture, but he always just photobombs it, right? And he's always the
I
little.
think that Tim. I think that every politician just is an individual, right? So not everybody's sucking on Trump's cock, and not everybody's sucking each other's cock. Some people are sucking Democrat cock. Some people are sucking lobbyist cock. You know what I'm saying? So are we just trying to get the political football moved a little further down the right side of the field? I feel like that's all I'm ever after. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just think that Mike Johnson is a compromiser. Total compliment.
Sure, they're all everybody there is. Every single human except for maybe Massey is
Massey,
that.
I don't think Massey is. Rand Paul.
Well, he's in the Senate, but in the House,
Yeah,
they're all that's low level. They're all trying to get to the next. I mean, they're building their careers.
yeah, but you had Matt Gates there. You still have Green. You know, what's her Marge Taylor Green or whatever her name is. You know, they're kind of all out. I don't think they're trying to get in. I don't think
They're
Billy.
like TikTok stars, legitimately.
Yeah,
I don't think of them like I don't think of Marjorie Taylor Greene. I don't put Congresswoman next to her name like Lauren Boebert. They're like TikTok stars. They get their 5 minute gotcha, and then it gets on TikTok and gets 5 million.
yeah,
They can make a lot. They make a lot of money from that,
yeah. But
from their accounts.
what I'm talking about is this, they can't vote in a true speaker, a true leader, right? One that why don't we have a Trump leader, a speaker, or a Matt Gates or a Thomas Massey or somebody that's just gonna
I
this.
just don't. I don't know that there's enough parts of our country alike to be able to get a majority like that. Like everybody's a little different. You know what
So
I'm saying?
I would never have Johnson flying a plane with me while I'm campaigning. I would never have him show up to UFC fight. I kick the pussy out. He's just a fucking pussy, and that's what sucks about him. I hate him, and when he gets a chance, he sides with the Democrats, and then they sell him to the MAGA group or the conservatives. They sell him to us, right? Like fuck you. I don't want him. He makes me puke. He just he'll say whatever he needs to say, and he's got the slick hair. Um, it's kind of like went to private school program, and he's just a pussy. Someone just needs to put him in, do a boxing match. We're gonna train. We'll have a
Tim
boxing.
Walls. How about Tim Walls and Mike Johnson? That's a good fight. Let's
Yeah,
set it up, Dana.
and then have about five of them because he won't learn the first time he's knocked out. He needs to be knocked out about 5 times, just the shit kicked out of him, and then he might think, you know what, I need to man up. My hair doesn't have to be perfectly in place. I just need to man up and make some choices. We're tired of you playing both ends of the stick and being a con man. You're just telling us what you think we want to hear at the moment in front of the crowd that you're in front of, and so that deserves a punch.
I guess I've never really listened to him talk before. He's he's really a little bit
He's a,
unassuming, uninteresting, but he's
a little bitch is what he is. He's just a little bitch.
I think being a politician, you kind of playing both ends of the stick, anyways. I mean, it's kind of the
Yeah,
game.
but we don't need any more politicians.
Yeah, I don't know how to get. I mean, there's 200 and some seats in there. You got to get every district on the same page of make America great. I think it'd be hard to do.
You look at the one guy that's guaranteed electable. He won't ever lose his seat as long as he's running. You know
Well,
who that?
it depends on where his seat is. If he moves to a different
Like
district, it could
like
change.
Wisconsin, if you get a new Supreme Court, they change your gendering and the jerry rig it, right? So
They already changed their gender, I think.
yeah, but I mean they're moving the gerrymandering so that
Oh yeah, we're all in for Brad Schimel around here.
yeah,
Our whole street go vote, and then we'll go eat breakfast afterwards. That's
that's
kind of our
cool.
thing.
But what I'm saying is that there's only one guy in
Five house, just a second. 5 houses down. Paul is running for mayor,
sweet.
and he's
Shout out
legit.
all the listeners.
Shout out. And if you got a fucking problem with what's going on, just show up to the garage party on Thursdays. You can vent your frustrations to him right there.
That's
We'll
awesome.
be watching the Brewers.
Yeah, that's awesome. So there's one guy in Congress that his seat will never be primaried as long as he's running.
Is that Massey?
Thomas Massey. Trump
But
can.
he'd have a hard time if he moved in the district of Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? But where he's at, those are his people. You know what
No,
I'm
well,
saying?
no, I don't know what you're saying. Do you know what I'm saying? Why is that? I mean,
The melting pot of America.
Kentucky votes in Mitch McConnell. Kentucky's had a
Well,
liberal
how is it that
government.
Brooklyn has AOC and Kentucky has fucking Massey? This is where America. That's what the play. That's what the.
AOC is not untouchable. Massey
No,
is.
she's not untouchable at all.
So,
Massey's untouchable. But what I'm
but
saying
doesn't
is
it
how
doesn't
do
have,
they even make it there?
I don't
How
think it.
do they make it there?
I
I
mean,
know how Massey makes it there because he's an honest dude and he's true.
that's my
But
point.
but
You can
how
put
then how does
you can
AOC
put
make it?
Massey in Brooklyn, and he'll be untouchable.
How is fucking AOC there? How is
AOC got all the outside George Soros and they had a casting call,
I saw that.
and she was created out of thin air. She didn't have a clue what she was doing. Total casting call, and her crew was all set up to tell her what to say, when to say it, where to
It's
go.
like hey
You
Pelosi.
go to one of her hometown meetings, they were boo her out of the gym. Her own people boo her out of the gym. So she doesn't do them.
You
Her
know who
own.
else is so safe? Pelosi. Pelosi's been safe for a long time, just like Massey. Ain't nobody primarying
No,
her.
no, nothing like Massey.
Well, I don't mean they're like Massey, but I'm
Nothing
saying
like
that
Massey. I'm just saying nothing, a whole different reason why she's elected over and over and over and over and over. It's because the corrupt Greece. There's one thing that always beats the corrupt Greece. That's just straightforward honesty. You have someone that you can trust, he'll never lose their seat. And that's why you get rid of these McConnells and Johnsons, Mike Johnson, because he's a slime bag. He's a he's a wimpo. And
if we had a force of Masseys or like-minded, I'm not saying multiply them, but there's like-minded
yeah, no,
individuals that can run in different
he's
districts.
straightforward. He votes with the Constitution every time.
How does he not have his own like that would be its own party almost? Because
It,
that's not like any party right now.
it almost is. I mean, he's got a
It's the
special.
close MAGA is probably the closest, right?
No, I think Massey's probably the closest. There's
No,
a
I mean to Massey if Massey had his own party.
Yeah, and I'm answering your question. It's Massey.
Oh yeah.
It's it's the Ron Paul uh, link of a Republican libertarian. It's a little bit of Rand Paul. It's got a little bit of that, but is that they won't vote for waste. They're not going to vote for we'll kick the can down the road and come back. It's a certain brand, and there's like three of them, and but Massey is one of them, and it's the Massey Party. It's about being a statesman. It's about having some integrity. So that's why he'll never be touched. And so, what I'm
How do you get
attempting
others in there?
attempting to get through to you is that's the key. It's not about Brooklyn. It's not about Pelosi. Pelosi's all about a sham. You get
But they
U.S.
still
You
win.
get
That's what
U.S.
but they
Yeah, but
still
it's
win.
U.S. aid money corruption. It's the Delano corruption. It goes way back to the Baltimore gangsters. You know,
Sure, but how do you it seems like there's more Pelosi's than there are
you
Masseys.
study what Thomas Massey does. He reads the Constitution every time there's a vote. He says, is it constitutional or not? Period. End of story. That's
And
what
I understand that, but if he's the only person out of 218 people doing it, then it doesn't matter anymore. So
Chris,
how do you get
Chris.
200 Masseys in there?
That's that. You're missing it.
Okay.
My whole point is there's one person that's unseatable. I mean, you cannot remove him. Who is that?
Massey.
Massey. Why?
Well, I mean, I think you can in our constitution. You
Well,
can't.
politically in a
If
vote.
he went out and shot 6 people today with an AR, he's removable. He's a human. But what you're saying is he's a statesman. He
No,
can't be removed from
what I'm
corruption.
talking about is elections. I'm
Yeah.
talking about
Okay.
He's you can't unseat him. Unseat him is not about if he goes commits murder. I get that. That's not my discussion. My discussion is politics and a seat that you can't. He's Trump proof. Trump's trying to remove him. He's Trump proof. Trump tried to remove him last time that he had a problem with people not showing up to vote. No, that's the law. You have to show up to vote. And people were mailing in their votes on Congress. He says no, and he forced everybody to come back under something that Trump wanted to be passed, like the bill, the spending bill that was atrocious. He says no, you're gonna go on record and you're gonna vote for being the scumbag that you are for voting this communistic U.S. aid program into existence. You're going to be on record and vote in person because that's the law. And well, but Christmas is too bad. I'm here. Get your butt here. Sit down in your seat and vote. And so Trump was like, I'm going to remove him. Massey told him then. That was his first time that Trump was president.
I
Massey told him,
remember.
bring it on. Try to remove me. You know why? Thomas Massey is a farmer. He raises cattle. He lives in the community and he's honest. And so you can't remove him electorally.
And that's okay. And that's awesome. That's legit. And that's what we need. But how do we repeat that in another district and have two of those in the
Yeah.
house?
So but that's it. It's
Oh, yeah.
self-evident. What you do is you be honest. You talk common sense. I'm telling you, the only reason why Trump's winning is because he has a little bit more integrity, and he calls it like it is. Period. Otherwise, and it's not the compromises that caused Trump to be a president. It's the non-compromising that's caused him to be president. Most politicians don't get this because all they are compromisers. And that's why no one can stand Lindsey Graham, Mitch McConnell. You go down the list. You can't stand Tom Cotton. He's a compromiser, right? He's
But see that how do we have a list to go down if it doesn't like it seems to work to get elected? Because there seems to be a lot of people that that win that are
yeah,
compromising.
they go get the money
Mhm.
from the grifting program. It's all. I mean, how can you have USAID be paying for Democratic races to to beat to win seats?
So, do you think that Doge is changing our electoral college forever by
The,
taking the money out
the
of
electoral
US?
college, or you meant you?
Well, I mean, just the elections in general, the amount of money the Democrats can play with.
Well, Trump signed the executive order today about cleaning up the elections, but he's
But
going to.
USA, but they shut down USAID, and that's the name that keeps popping up in this conversation. So, does
They're
that
they're
change, or is
no
there just
they're
another one pop up?
they said they're trying to shut down USAID. Judges have ruled that they can't fire the people. Judges are ruling that they can't defund it. But you know what? So it's not just done. Only thing that's been done so far is identification of
Yeah,
issues.
yeah. There's been no actions. Yes.
No action. Nobody, and so you got to send people to prison, and you got to impeach judges, and you can't. They're not going to get impeached. They need 2/3 vote to impeach them. So we're in trouble. And so there's supposed to be equal power, but judges can't rule in the executive branch, and they are. That's what they're doing. And so that's wrong. It's unconstitutional. So you have to fight back, and you have to fight back with the purse. The Congress has the power to close down any federal district. That's powerful. Congress has the power to do that except for the Supreme Court, and they certainly can limit Supreme Court justices or put more in. But what they can do is defund every court below that. And so now the judges, if they don't have any law clerks, they don't have any specialty
Any
stuff,
money?
any money,
Any money?
they're gonna, and it's happening. I mean, they're talking about it now. They're kind of waking up. But I'll tell you what happens. Then they start thinking about how they're ruling. Now, I think they ought to have a constitutional um, framework to have to live by. They swear an oath, and people need to hold their oath accountable in some type of way. Um, and it's the same way for Congress people, really. If you're a traitor, and 90% of them are traitors.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a reason why the only fucking branch in our government that really has teeth is the executive branch, because that's
Well,
where the will.
these executive every executive order will come back to bite you.
But they have a military.
Yeah, they have a military. That's true, and that's where Trump needs to concentrate his power.
Hmm.
And it's careful because that's a fine line when you use military against your people. But the reality is, the judge can issue a ruling, turn the plane back, but who's going to make them enforce that?
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It has no teeth.
No teeth. And Trump needs to just say,
Go fuck
go
yourself.
you fly kite,
Yeah.
fly kite, dude, and then defund them so they have no clerks, no funding. Show up and rule, buddy, and then think about how you're going to rule. Might want to read the Constitution first.
Which is pretty important for a federal judge, wouldn't you say, Tim?
Yeah, I think that'll get their attention. They think they're God, and uh, and now it's time just to um, humble them a little bit. No more cush jobs, no more big salaries. You get your pay, okay, but then you better figure out how to split that pay of yours up so you get some help because we're not paying for it anymore. We're not paying, and the people are not to pay for someone to stop the president from doing lawful things. It's lawful to fire people in the government. It's lawful to cut waste. That's lawful. And it's part of the Constitution. It's part of his role to do. It's lawful to protect our border. This is crazy. If you come in here,
It's just insanity. Like this. We're not talking about
you,
Trump
you
fucking
don't have
doing
any.
crazy
You don't. If
shit.
you're illegal, you don't have any rights. You can't come in here illegally and have any constitutional rights. You have no right to a court, no right to having anything adjudicated. No, you're out. You can argue in the penitentiary in El Salvador. Argue all you want down there about your rights over here. So,
It's true. What do you want?
uh,
I mean, that's how I thought. That's how I thought about it. I don't know if it is true. I
no,
don't
it is
know if
true.
it's all people that are just here. It
You,
doesn't.
you don't you don't have any rights because you come into the United States illegally. None. Now, if you have a green card, you have rights. Not the same as a citizen, but you do have some legal, lawful rights. But you don't. You have rights as a human being, but they're not protected under our Constitution. Sorry. Be careful where you go illegally. Come here legally, you do. We'll protect you. If someone murders you, we'll avenge it. We're looking for um, justice. But as far as having a right to an attorney, having a right to a trial because you're an illegal alien and you're getting deported, sorry, doesn't work that way. I don't have any rights in Poland if I'm there illegally. They're
Right.
at the wall. If I'm cutting it through the wall, you saw a video the other day. They're showing up in 30 seconds and drawn rifles on my head, and I'm on the ground. Russia's the same way. China's the same way. I mean, what are we kidding? Mexico's the same way.
Yeah. The
So
cartels, they don't let you just come in there.
no. So anyway, all right, we'll lighten the air a little bit. I had my first um, existential whatever experience the other day. You'll get a chuckle out of this. So I was in the grocery store. I was getting some coffee, I think, and just walking down the aisle, and there's a mom with two little munchkins underneath, in the little race car shopping cart. You know what I'm talking about, where they both had
Mhm.
steering wheels underneath the shopping cart, and the shopping cart's above it. The mom's pushing the shopping cart. You've seen those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's two little munchkins there. and they're they're looking at me, and their eyes are like this, and they go, and I'm looking, I'm just walking by, I'm looking at this, hi, and then I realized they actually thought I was Santa Claus in March, and they actually saw me, and the mom didn't see me, so I'm sure they thought it's just the magic of moms can't see Santa Claus outside of Christmas, and so they so so literally I was wondering why they were so smiling, looking at me like waving. I was like, oh, letting my beard grow, they taking on a new persona.
Hey, that's a good one though. That's
Yeah,
a
that's
fun one.
it is fun. I was like, I didn't know why they were so enamored, and then I realized, oh, they just had a close encounter with Santa Claus in March at the
That's
grocery.
awesome.
So what else is happening?
Uh, not much. Not much. My life is blah. A little heat and air work.
The heat at work.
Yep.
Uh, so we got March Madness going. Bitcoin. We want to talk about Bitcoin for a second.
Yes.
So I didn't really say this, but I was doing a little experiment on some of the signals were showing that we might have a little dip before April, like 4th or 5th. Um, just because it's going back and forth. It's been going up and down. I think it's about 86, 87 right now. So I got in this last time. I was just doing dollar cost averaging from about 79 to 80 to 81. And then I wrote it up to 88.4 the other day, and I sold off to take some profits. Not a lot, but not a little either. Quite a bit of percentage. I just sold it off because I thought there might be a little dip, and I kept a lot of it too. So and there was a little dip. It went down, I think, to 84, but it's primarily at 86, 87. So I'm gonna have to. I will jump back in before the 4th or 5th on the last percentage that I took out because I took a profit. That's how you make money: is you take profits when you can, when you think it's going down, and then you jump back in, or if you think it's going up, you jump back in regardless of where you are. It's not a loss because I got the profits, right? So,
Right.
but I'm hoping that it goes down. I got buys in at everyone from 81, 82, 83, 84, 5, buys in just to, when it hits, it automatically buys to get me back because I want to be fully allocated before April
April
4th
what? 4th.
or 5th. Yeah. I think, and it's not anything that may happen on April 4th or 5th. It just, there's a window between about the 5th and I don't know what I put, like the 20, um, maybe the 23rd, 24th, something like that. That window between the 5th and the 23rd, uh, that I think is when the trend will then go upward for quite a while. It may not be on a straight path upward, but it'll be a definite trend upward. That's what the signals are kind of showing. So, time to make money.
Nice. Love to make money, don't you, Tim?
I do. I get juice making money. Been thinking about, um, so I think what's left for me to do here between us is one, we can just be public about this. We want to create a little business plan for the show. Um, but I think we could talk about that for the objectives, what we'd like to do for the show here. Some of the things that are we want to measure, whether it's amount of listeners or amount of value, or seeing someone, providing information for taking step A or one and getting through step 10 of actually making money, I think would be pretty cool. And there's a lot of things to talk about with just systems and then structuring entity wise and stuff like that. And then a couple projects that we want to do. One is just building gun ranges, which would be kind of cool out of Earth Block,
I'm into it.
and the other is doing forms of unique power washing. And the difficult thing with power washing is that it's an easy entry point, so the competition could be pretty stiff. But if you can tie up um, making some type of differential between you and others and tie up the opportunity by making it easier for the customer, whoever that is, the client, to choose you, that'd be kind of cool. And in the HVAC world, if you have a background in that anyway, then that's kind of cool. Maybe that'd be the end. So
I do have some ideas.
yeah, shoot.
I like there is um a uh, a retailer that's doing some light facelifts. I know coming up starting next month. So, they paint, do all that bullshit, signs and whatever. But what I do is bring out one technician to meet a power washing crew. And he goes in and the store removes all the product, like, because the store shuts down for a week. So there is no store for a week.
Hmm.
So we go in and pull all the cartridges out from underneath, all the compressors, all the motors, get everything turned off, and the power wash crew comes in and just cleans all the freezers and
Oh yeah.
refrigeration.
And are those all fins?
Well, the coils are little, right? So you're not doing that with a power washer, but physically the actual freezers themselves.
And so you want to get the dust off so it's more efficient. Is that the issue? And the grime and
You just want to clean them, right? Because there's soda and fucking juice, and
yeah,
I mean that's what they hold. You picture walking into a Dollar General. It doesn't look like a Walmart. It's mobile cases
yeah,
racked, right? But it's
yeah,
not a rack room like you would see at an Albertsons or Fred Meyer's. It doesn't look like that. They don't have that kind of equipment. So each one's individual and plugs into the wall, right?
yeah, yeah,
So you want to go in and just clean them because there's milk, and I mean it's Dollar General. And so
yeah,
they get dirty out, and they do that about every 5 years, right? So they'll
yeah,
pick nationally, right? So that's that's all of them, all the dollar stores, all of them. They all do it.
yeah,
It's a niche side. Once you get in there, they pass your name around, and you'll always, if you're good, right? Because there's a bunch of bullshit in that industry. I deal with it. I used to be the tech that would meet them out there at a Target, at a Home Depot. You
right,
get these fucking like knuckleheads,
right.
but I mean just real fucking idiots. So not like knuckle draggers, but knuckleheads. There's a
Yeah.
difference.
So they
I'm a
know
knuckle
stuff.
dragger, but I
Yeah,
ain't a knucklehead. Like
but
I go out and get the job done
they get water
correctly.
in the electronics, for
They
example.
don't give a. They don't even know. They're just ripping up the coils, and they're not washing them. They're saying they're washing them. They're fucking
Right,
jerking off in the truck.
right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
Because
But
these crews,
we show up with clean cut uniforms. First thing, boom. Just nail it. And we're done an hour early, and we're how can we help you get
and
back
we
on?
take pictures, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And we have
On the
software that we communicate with our clients with. You're gonna get your pictures.
See, now I think there's a unique advantage, and this is good
But
for
hey, that separates us from 90% of what I've ran into, right?
right, right,
10% are what we're talking about.
right.
Then from there, we can start attaching like uh credentials and whatnot. But
Well,
you don't really even need to do that. Well,
no,
if you give a fuck and take a shower, that's half the battle this in this day and age, you
right,
know.
right. I'm trying to get a little bit here. So
Maybe like grab your power washer and do your own air conditioner in your own driveway. Learn how it works before you get out there.
yeah, Uh, so there we go. I, I'm gonna go. I had all these. They were commercial, but at the bottom end commercial. They were nice Honda um, power washers. I had a couple of them. We used to build them, believe it or not. We built the power washer part and hooked them up to Honda engines. And so I
Hey, I
had,
built a few in the oil field. Those dudes are thrifty, boy.
yeah. So yeah, I think what we can get we can get started and seeing if we can get some contracts and agreements, and we probably could just start with a trailer and lease some stuff to prove it out.
That's kind of that's one of the big deals, right? You want to be a company that not only shows up with a smile and a clean shirt, but you want to show up with your own water.
Yeah,
You don't want to be hooking up to their mop sink and shit. I hate that.
yeah. You can just put tanks on a trailer, right? And why? I mean,
You
that
don't
makes.
even need that much water. What everybody thinks you do, you just don't. It's not necessary.
And why? I mean, it's good to be self-sufficient like that and do it, but why? What's the big issue there? Tell me why you like that. I like it too, but I don't know why hooking up the outside faucet is a big deal.
Well, normally the outside faucet is controlled by a landlord who we're not going to have contact with, and it's a real bitch to get them to unlock the shit so you can use, even if we have our own water key, right? Because they treat it like up here it's a big deal. Everything's got to be good
Free,
for the winter, so
freezer,
everything's inside, right?
right, right,
Which you can do, but then you always have to make arrangements. If you can just rock and roll with your own water truck and you put a heater on it, you don't need much water if it's hot. And you can
yeah,
just roll up with the fucking ladder, slap it up, go. Maybe you're doing that at 3 in the morning, how I like to do shit before the
right,
general public's out there, and just
right,
knocking that stuff out and rolling on.
right,
And you ain't got to talk to anybody. You just take the pictures. We'll have a good software that communicates with corporate. We don't need to be talking at the store level. Just get up there, knock it out, go to the next store. That's how I like to do it.
yeah.
You start involving communication at every point of communication at the level of power washer, it's something to go wrong.
How? Yeah, the problem. You drop the ball. It's like
It's like you say the wrong thing, you overpromise. By the time we get to the water, we're power washing her goddamn fucking kids, fucking dad's fucking air conditioner because she's cute and Jesus Christ.
right,
I just want to roll up, power wash, take pictures before, take pictures after, get your paperwork loaded, and let's hit the next store. This should be two
right.
hours at a pop. Let's
Invoice,
knock these out. Invoice,
invoice.
and then give and let's roll. And that's all there is to it. There's this. It's not sexy,
No,
but
do they prepay or how do you get paid?
so I don't, Tim. At the level that I work at, which is the retail level, kind of commercial, everything seems to be on a 90 and 180-day PO. Um, So regardless, you're not getting paid for 90 or 180 days, and each corporate seems to be a little bit different on that, how they pay out. Does that make sense?
No, I get it, but the problem is you become a collection agency.
For real?
And the other problem is they don't need service again for 6 months.
You're all the time arguing. I am over a $10 contactor. You know what I'm saying? But so um that's why I kind of like the project deal.
Explain.
So let's say the power washers or even I'm going to send a tech out to whatever retail store, name them in the winter or in this time of year, spring, when they're starting to load back up. And we're going to do the power washing, some refrigeration. Like that gets paid that's a lump sum. It's not T&M. It's not time and material. Like that's a
Right.
quoted deal. So you're going to get half up front, half after, right? I don't mind that as much.
Right. And then, uh,
And you're gonna quote out, say, 50 stores.
and
10 grand a
you're gonna
piece.
get some
So it's gonna be about
legalese.
500,000, huh?
We can have the legalese contract where we
Yeah.
can store down or take half the product, right? You just
Yeah, because you gotta go out, you gotta get licensed, bonded, insured, and every contract's gonna require a different kind of a different insurance number. So you want to just get the big one, so your COI is always squared away. And
so you
um,
so you know that we have an insurance business too.
no, I didn't.
Reinsurable. It's great. I'll explain that to you. But that is when you have your own insurance company. It's kind of nice.
Cool sister self-insured. That's what all of our letters say. We'll fucking
Yeah,
pay you next.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
my tech fucks it up, we'll pay you next.
Right, right, right.
I don't know exactly how all that works. It's through some kind of
Yeah, it's
business. It's
called
through
rein.
some business in Cincinnati, Ohio,
Yeah.
which I'm for sure
So
we own that too.
Geico doesn't have insurance. Geico has reinsurance. They pay for catastrophic loss. Everything else is cash flow, and that's how they do
It's a
it.
business. It's a cash in, cash out business.
Yeah, and a Geico. I mean, in most insurance companies this way. Geico's one. You know, think there's all this efficient. Well, every day they can hold off payment. That's how they make their money, which is bullshit, right?
Yeah.
And it's a time thing. But what happens is Lloyd's of London; those are the reinsurers. You know, they play with the big guys that just has a blanket coverage, and so it's kind of like these athletes. You know, they get the insurance.
Okay. They get the crazy insurance. Those are like you could tell that policy was written for Peyton Manning.
Yeah, it's like my wife and insuring her hands, right? She's got a lot of money invested in her hands. She's in a gardening incident when she cuts a finger off. Her career is over.
It's true.
So it's a reinsurance program. Likelihood is that happening is pretty low, but she can get in a car accident and break her hand. And what if it's not? What if she severs a nerve in her finger? You're gonna want her to operate on you if your finger doesn't work. Robotics is great, but it's just difficult.
So yeah, no, it's real.
And I knew a surgeon, really a great guy, Dr. Cook. Um, he was a really good. He was a friend of mine, and he was a great man, and it was a great. I knew he was a good surgeon. I could just tell, but he was a woodworker. Cut the tips of his fingers off. You know that ended it. Well, dark a dark show today. But yeah, so reinsurance is um, um, there's a way to set it up so you can be kind of like you're self-insured, but basically you can have a reinsurance company. So what we do is instead of getting dicked around by getting policy, I need a $50 million policy or whatever, and the deductibles and then the premiums are exorbitant. Just like it makes it so you can't. It's just hard to be playing in the realm of the risk factor. And the more money it costs you, the greater the risk it is, whether you're profitable or not, and making it worthwhile. And this is unfortunately the American nightmare instead of the American dream. It's just like everything is so regulated that it keeps you out of business, so that the only people that can afford to do it are the big players, and they're monopolistic. And so what you do is you can self-insure if you have enough money, but then you've got to structure things so that you're not at risk for lawsuits that are stupid lawsuits. We get these crazy courts now that have nothing to do with truth. They just want, oh, they find out you got big pockets, so they go after you. So what you do is you don't own anything, but you reinsure. You don't insure on the first level like a Geico with car insurance where you're making big premiums just to have normal coverage. You just say, nah, you know what? I'm going to bet big time. You gotta. you got $1 million judgment, then I want that covered. If it's under a million, then I got it. And so you do a reinsurance like a Lloyd's of
I
London.
see what you're saying now.
And so you got the insurance, but it's only for catastrophic, and then you don't own anything. Everything is in LLCs and trusts, and you lease everything. So
Mhm.
now, if Dollar General wants to come after you because allegedly they said that you did something wrong and electrocuted somebody, but the truth is you didn't do it, and then they say, well, we're suing you for all your equipment. Okay, and
Okay.
I don't own any equipment. Well, we're going to take over your company. Here it is, LLC. I'm signing it over to you. Have fun. And then what do they get? They get a job. They're going to have to go work it.
They're gonna have to lease. I got another company to lease you a power washer though. If you need a new power washer company,
Yeah, exactly. And
but
then
you're gonna have the right insurance, Geico.
here's the other side of it, though. It's not a get out of jail free card or an opportunity to not take responsibility. Say okay, man, you're right. We put electric cord right in a bucket of water, and your employee grabbed the bucket, and it was a aluminum pail, right? Killed her. Well, it doesn't mean that on that case, if we legitimately did wrong, then okay, Lloyd's of London, you got to kick in here. Or if it's under that amount, say, you know what, the right thing to do, Chris, is that we need to take care of this family, this lady and her children and her husband, and make it right, right? And we just do it because
Yep.
that was our bad, and it doesn't. So, but the only thing is, I get to choose to do the right thing,
Yeah,
as
yeah, yeah.
opposed to some,
It tells if you're trying to fuck me, go fuck yourself.
yeah, some court system with a hairy ass attorney that sees that I got big pockets. No, I don't even have pockets. Sorry.
Hey, I gotta go. I'm gonna run upstairs really quick. I'll be right back, Tim.
Okay,
Give me 5 minutes.
you bet. Okay, today we'll carry on the cigar discussion. So if you have, I don't like I was saying before, I don't really care for that they look cool in the movies. The big, even Churchill cigar. They weren't that big. They were long, the Churchill size, like 7 inches, but they were still at 58. I think a 50 ring. This is 54, so a little big. And so sometimes, and it's not just because of the size. Sometimes, but it is because of the size. It doesn't really draw that well. And so when you're smoking a cigar, you tend to smoke them fast if you have to breathe in. I'm not talking about inhaling. If you have to breathe in um, more aggressively, it burns faster just to get a normal draw. And really, to sense the flavor of a cigar is when you're just barely breathing in. So I barely breathe in, but the draw is terrible. So on a lot of good lighters, they'll have a little uh, draw poker. And so with this, I'll just take and see if it's on the camera. And I just poke that straight down in, and I try to move the lighter, push the lighter into the cigar as opposed to the cigar into the lighter because it can crush the wrap, the tobacco leaf wrap, and crack it open, and then smoke comes out the side. So I just poke that straight down through from the unlit side. And you can see that it's not about relighting it every 2 minutes. It's just a better draw. Now, to be honest, I usually these are in the humidor for um, a while, and they get acclimated, and then you dry box them before you smoke them a little bit, and then they're just about the right humidity, and they smoke a lot easier. And I just got this in the mail, so who knows how long it's been in transit and what type of humidity. So it probably hasn't set and adjusted the way I like it, and therefore the draw is a little bit tight on it. So just talking about cigars, there's another technique that they rarely I've ever heard anybody talk about this, but it's alleged, and I think that it's kind of dynamic enough so you want to believe it. Uh, Physics wise, I don't think it's true, but they talk about flushing a cigar. So this is a nub, so it started short. But if I had a long, let's see, get my finger in the picture, a long cigar, and you smoke a third and maybe a half, and you got a third left, which is about this size. And sometimes people talk about flushing a cigar, and what they do is they blow through the cigar and they light what comes out, and that supposedly makes it smoke better. So we're going to give it a shot. So it's you can see that the draw is so much better now. Now I'm going to get the lighter going and that's what they call flushing a cigar. And supposedly on the last third, when you flush a cigar like that, it brings out the taste, and you don't get that bitter, burnt sense from the guitar cigar. So that's the flushing the cigar and how to improve the draw with a draw poker. And the types of, if you look for cigar lighters, some are like little gun torches. They have all kinds of torches. They have a soft light. You click it, and it's a soft light, and then you light it by breathing in when you're lighting. And some of these are just really inexpensive. The jet lines, this is a jet line. I don't know, I guess you can see their jet line. There are the cameras. Figure out where that camera is. The jet line is there, and I like them because they come with a poker, and they come with, we talked about last week, with the punch, and they're really inexpensive, and they're metal and some type of plastic for the little fuel tank, and they got a nice little control on the bottom. Let's see here, where you just turn it one way or the other to make the flame go up or down. Other lighters, they'll have a little handle in here that's hard to get open and out and to mess with when it's dark and outside, or you set it down and it tips over because the handle's out a little bit. And they're cheap. This is inexpensive, but it's metal. It lasts forever. And so, anyway, we discussed how to flush a cigar, Mr. Chris. I can't hear you. No
Did you
sound.
say? Did you say flush a cigar?
Yeah, flush a cigar. You're going to have to review the tape to
I
get all.
will. I will. I'll review the tape. No big deal. I'm good at it.
Yeah.
I normally rewatch everything.
Oh, sweet.
Um. All right. So we're gonna do the discuss the show becoming a business, blossom like a flower on the
Yeah.
show.
Yeah. And I think that it can be almost a not a loss, but it could be, you have lost leaders. The lost leaders could be talking about other businesses, and that might be the purpose of it. It's not necessarily, the thing that I don't like about shows today is that everybody's trying to do one, and it really takes something of a research team or some type of experiences they share that make it worth listening to. Because when you crowd the field of everybody trying to um, say something and they don't have anything to say, then it doesn't really go anywhere, right? So we want to
Right.
make it go somewhere because we have something to offer. And I think the important thing is to look at, okay, what can we offer that makes a difference? And when you start making money, that makes a difference. And then when we can help people figure out, if we could get like the old talk radio call in, only it's chat in, and people can pre-write some questions, and we can look at them and give them answers. I mean, we can just say, hey, ask us any question about business you want. Ask, whatever we can brainstorm it and then bring to the table um, stuff that we can try with them and help them get rolling. So I don't want to be the gatekeeper or keep information. That's kind of like question like that, but I think we just go real transparent at
I
uh,
like that.
power washing everything and just show people what we're doing. And if they want to compete with us, awesome, bring it on. We'll build with them, right?
Maybe
So
everybody will win.
yeah, there's plenty of fish in the sea. I'm telling you what, a lot of people don't even know they need their coils cleaned.
It's true.
And on the side, I just went up and down.
You want to talk? You want to talk about a business that could that doesn't cost anything to start up, and that would be coil cleaning,
Yeah, well,
air
so
conditioners.
and then on the down times, um, can you imagine um, just doing driveways, going up and down the neighborhood, right? In downtime, when there's always more to do with the same equipment. And I even wonder, you know, if you had a sloping driveway, all the driveways in our neighborhood are sloping, right? They're downhill. And they're all moldy, dirty black because of Oregon weather. And it's a brand new neighborhood. And it is, if you have, what I'm thinking, I'm going to go get a power washer. And what I'm thinking is, I clean mine. It's gonna start a deal.
A trend, yeah. Everybody's gonna be like, "God damn it, Tim did it." Jesus,
Yeah.
God damn it.
And so, but I think that in Wisconsin, for example, I don't know how this works, but you got the snow blowers, you got the shovelers, people that are moving snow. What if you power washed a driveway and a sidewalk with hot water?
You'd have a fuck ton of ice.
That's what I'm wondering. But wouldn't the hot water uh, drain down on a neighborhood?
Not mine. I mean, you'd have a lot of ice.
Yeah.
It freeze pretty instant too.
Huh.
But now, what we could do is just rip up everybody's fucking concrete and let me put a boiler system in,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then pour over that, and you're just keep your driveway at 40 or 30 fucking 6, and you're good.
I remember my dad after he retired. He would never retire, right? So he would take these odd jobs. He would be delivering brand new motorhomes. I'd find him and driving to Alaska delivering, and so he'd have all these cold things that he would do just to keep all the pipes and everything going, when he was driving one of those things. But he did this security job at John Deere. And I don't know where it was, but it was a John Deere plant. Probably where's their headquarters? Rock Island, Illinois. Or where is it? Or,
Ah, Moline.
I think it was Moline,
It's in the
because that's
Quad
kind of
Cities over there.
yeah, that's kind of his neck of the woods at a time. So he took a security job with them, and I mean, no, this was many years ago. I mean, he passed away 4 years ago or so, and he was in his 90s. So he's probably in his 70s then, right? So it's 25 years ago. And he was so excited about John Deere, how all had all their entryway driveways, which were big, were all heated. And so that was just like, that was pretty phenomenal.
Right. So Granger has a huge distribution center and corporate office here in
Oh, yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
So I did the maintenance on that for their HVAC, and that HVAC system, just the snow melt system, is fucking elaborate. It's the whole basement because I mean they melt all the snow, all the acreage,
Wow.
all the parking lots, the sidewalks. They're
So
all
it's a
on a.
boiler system.
It's a fucking like kind of like guys like me like go down and shut the door and just jack off for 2 days, and now we can finally look at it. You know what I'm saying? It's phenomenal, and it was installed phenomenal, and those dudes deserve the pat on the back, whoever installed that. I mean, the craftsmanship that went into that is second to none, and it's pretty new. So that whoever got that contract, A+. I did this servicing. That was a dream because the install crew cared so much. But that snow melt system was something to be talked about. It was high pressured. It's phenomenal.
Wow. So I can remember as a kid. I was saying I'm a kid. I was like 19. I would do these summer unique. It was in Pennsylvania. Unique construction type. It was the oil business and roofing business on a commercial level. But I can remember we do maintenance and servicing and installation on these big boiler systems. Big complex boiler systems for like huge churches, or one that we did that I remember, and I was really good with handling big equipment. I would have it was kind of like a backhoe deal, but it was a shooter. But I would be, you know, it'd have a couple ton sleeve, and it was probably all cast iron. But they're like these boiler systems would have 12 or 15 sleeves, and they were huge. They're bigger than my garage. And I'd swing them through the entryway to get them to be able to place them, to remove them, and also to place them. Does that make sense? Do you remember that?
Yes.
So this one was so cool because it was so technical at the time, and it would have been in the '80s, the early '80s. Um, so it was so technical because it was a greenhouse. And in Pennsylvania, it was not a greenhouse like this was like 5 acre greenhouse, right? It was huge, and so they had to have all the temperature just right, right? And it was their boiler system, and so it was. In fact, the boiler was in a separate building. It was a good sized building just to have the boiler system in it, and then the heating system ran to all of the greenhouses, which is pretty cool when you think about it. I mean, for me to look back on it as a 19-year-old kid, it was fun. It was kind of neat to do. So, but I don't know how we got off on that, but yeah, you could heat driveways really easy with that thing. That was all. I don't know. They either used natural gas or diesel, oil to run those things. I don't know what they do now. So, what they're doing. What do you guys do on commercial boiler systems in Wisconsin?
Wait, say that one more time.
What do you guys do on commercial boiling systems in Wisconsin?
For what? What do
What
you mean?
these big boiler systems for heat
Who,
and
who
melt?
makes them?
No, what's your energy source?
Natural gas.
Mhm. And and so natural gas has kind of replaced all of the old diesel.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you got to get all the way out to the East Coast to get your old oil burners. I mean, there's probably some farmhouses,
Yeah,
probably still some farmhouses, and those what you have it like people that have upgraded probably propane now, LP, but
yeah,
probably a lot of propane up north. Like East Coast, still a lot of oil burners up there though. That was a deal during COVID because you still have to tank that in,
yeah, yeah.
like physically with
Right,
trucks.
right, right.
Have a
Yeah,
human.
right, right. To tank in the
Can't
oil.
lock them all up, bro.
No, I tanked
Some
them.
people are actually needed.
All right, so I got a pretty cool deal here. I think. Hang on one second. I heard the door knocking. Come
Uh
here, man.
oh.
I got a live show going.
Who knows?
So we Tuesday night's a live show. We're live. Come in here. I got my neighbor buddy.
Oh, okay. All right.
He came. He came over to Mariel's birthday party because he wouldn't come
Nice.
to my birthday party.
That's
So
not true.
That's not true.
I can't turn this. So you're gonna have to come in the picture.
I'll come in here.
Come in here, Josh.
What's up, Josh? How are
How we
you?
doing? How we doing?
Good,
So
good.
Good.
being the the half con man. What's the Tom Sawyer getting somebody else to paint the picket fence? Got this special place. They bring it in from the coast to get Northwest, Pacific Northwest is what they call it out here, right, Chris?
Pacific
Sam.
Northwest, huh?
So we got all this food for this birthday party, but I got like, I don't know, 4.5 pounds of salmon, and it is. I
Son
mean,
of
you
a
could eat it raw.
bitch.
It is so good. So
True.
anyway, I didn't even bust out this. I was gonna make the salmon and put it on crackers for dinner, but we ended up having pho, and we had plenty of food.
Too much food.
Too much
Yeah,
food.
too much food.
So of course I did the Tom Sawyer thing and said, "All right, I know you can't see us very good. You want me to move it back, or do I
No,
get?"
hang on. I'm fixing something. You just chill.
So Josh, he's got a smoker. So now he
Hey.
stopped by in a live show. So I'm thought, I hear a knock. I bet that's Josh.
It is.
Opened up the garage door because I'm not going to miss out on salmon. So can we unveil this thing to the camera?
We can.
And
Absolutely.
I'm making it work. So anyway, he smoked the salmon for me.
I smoked this thing real good too.
Did you take half of it, I hope?
Well, now Caitlin took some to work, and that's about it. But
Did you taste it?
I take. Oh, it's so good.
Hey, I smoked that here in
Yeah.
Wisconsin. That is phenomenal
It's
looking.
got a nice little glaze to it. Tim did a
What
nice
do you
little-
use? What did you?
Go for it.
So Tim put a nice little marinade on it, and it sat overnight, and then I pulled it out, and then I put some paprika on it because you had everything in there that was pretty much we needed, and then I threw it on the smoker for about 5 hours, and
That it looks like
here
cotton
we are.
candy. That looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
Up here in Wisconsin, we pull salmon out of Lake Michigan, coho salmon. I
Yeah.
usually smoke them with brown sugar and molasses or a Caro syrup, and they have 5 to 8 hours, and they really do come out like a little melt in your mouth, little candy-ish.
Well, this one in particular, I was kind of surprised too. Like I went to pull it off, and as I was pulling it off, it fell apart almost. It's perfect. That's really good.
So
That's phenomenal.
So when I was in chef school,
Of course you were, Tim.
no, never went to chef school. But here's what. So I created this special sauce, marinating sauce for salmon. It's a science. What I did was we had kind of catered. Marielle went and picked it up. There's a really cool Vietnamese pho banh ma.
The banh mi's.
And they have these little tubs of super spicy and super other things that you put on you're supposed to put into the pho soup to dip the sandwich in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I had 1,000 of those empty or left over, so I just poured them all over the salmon because it's scientific in chef school. That's what you're supposed to do.
That's phenomenal. And it looks. How's it smell?
What do you think?
I don't think they even smell. Well, really good salmon doesn't even smell.
No.
The smoke.
The smoke. Though,
I mean, here, give that a smell real quick.
I can't smell it. So it smells fresh, cold.
It does.
So what we're going to do is because we're going to end the show. I'm going to go see if I can talk Josh into enjoying some salmon and a cigar with me.
I love it.
All right. What
All right, be good.
What else you got here, Chris?
I don't have nothing else. It's good to meet you, sir. I'd love to have some of your salmon someday.
Absolutely.
Come on out, Chris. Come on out.
All right.
Take care.
Well, everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks. Take care. Bye-bye.